Make a service contract. You're going to go to your service contract list page and select new. The contract number is just going to be the next in your number series. And then once you tab out of that space, it's going to ask you if you would like to use a contract template. I recommend using contract templates because then it's going to pre-populate a lot of the fields that the contract looks to fill in other areas, and it'll result in you having less errors pop up on the page as you fill it out. So this is a preventative maintenance contract for a coffee machine. That is the description of my template. You can overwrite this. So I'm just going to put at the beginning that this is for Coho Winery. Then I'm going to add my customer in. All of my customer information is going to populate. I'm going to scroll down to my service item lines. And here I'm going to select the appropriate service item for them. The one that I'm looking for is not appearing in this list. And that's because I need to update the ship to code to match the location of the service item that I'm looking for. So I'm going to select the Calgary location for Coho Winery. And now you can see there's a different set of service items that are available. So I'm going to select service item 45. You can have multiple service items on a contract, or you can have one. It's up to you and the type of contracts that you have with your customers. For this scenario, I'm just going to put one service item on this contract. The line value is the total amount that you're going to charge the customer for this contract for the year. Your contract might be for multiple years, but the line value is specific for the amount that you're going to bill for 1 year. So in this example, I'm going to put 1,200. I'm not going to apply any discounts. You can see in my template that the service period is 3 months. My starting date has defaulted to today's date in my environment, which I have set to September 30th, 2027. And so my next plan date is also going to default into that date. I can adjust this, however, and maybe I don't want to do my first service until October 15th. If the contract has an expiration date, you can complete it here, or if it's an open-end contract, then you can just leave that blank. Scrolling down, if your customers provided a PO for the contract, then you can enter that into your reference field. So maybe this is the 2026 Coho Winery service for number 45. Further down, you can see I can enter in my service zone code. So I'm going to pick the West for this one. Again, my service period is going to be every 3 months. And I'm going to update that first service date again here under the service tab. My response time in hours, this is defaulting in as well as the service order type. This was selected in my contract template. I'm doing just a regular preventative maintenance. So that is what the order type is that's defaulted in. Under the invoice details tab is where you're able to set up the billing for the customer. So part of the template that I chose for this contract is a prepaid contract. So what this means is that the customer is going to pay for the service ahead of it being provided. So you can see that the next invoice date is set to October 1st, 2027. So the day after the contract starts. And the period is going to be for 1 year. So it's going to bill $1,200 ahead of time. If I selected a different invoice period, then that would change when they're getting billed. So in this case, if I selected to bill them every quarter, then they would get an invoice for $300 every 3 months, adding up to the total annual cost of the $1,200. Because this is a prepaid contract, I'm just going to select year and we'll bill them for the whole year service upfront. You can also select to bill after the service has been completed. And to do that, you would just disable this prepaid Boolean. Contracts also offer a price update feature. So if doing a mass price update to your service contracts is something that is of interest to you, that capability is available in Business Central through a batch job, and you would set up the parameters for your contracts through this section on the contract. Details, I always recommend using a cancel reason code. So if you are canceling a contract, you want to be able to select the cancel reason code, and it's a good way to collect data. Maybe you lost the contract because it expired and they didn't renew, or maybe you lost the contract because they moved to another competitor. It's a good way to collect data and analyze the service that you're providing. Looking at my contract, everything looks good to me. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to sign my contract. When I sign my contract, it's going to ask me if I want to make an invoice for the 1 day. I don't. And now you can see that my status is signed and locked. The reason it asked if I wanted to make an invoice for that 1 day is because my contract starting date is the 30th of September, but my bill period is starting on the 1st of October. So if I had selected yes, it would have generated an invoice for 1 day, but we don't need to in this case. With service contracts, they will only generate invoices and service orders if both the status is signed and the change status is locked. If these are not both signed and locked, it will not generate an invoice and it will not generate a service order. If you find after you've signed and locked a contract that you need to make a change, maybe you misentered something, or you come to a new set of terms with the customer, you can open the contract and make a change. But again, you would have to relock it in order for those changes to take effect and for it to resume creating invoices and creating service orders. And that's your basic setup for making a maintenance contract in Business Central.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. How long do you think it would take to do how to create service orders from a service contract? Like, do you have time for that?
Yeah, it's very short.
Okay.
Yeah.